Hello, everyone. Welcome to Off the Charts, episode 173. As you can see, once again, we've got the Kansas connection. Well, let's introduce themselves, of course. Let's start with Steve, because he always thinks he's first every time I... So he's diagonal for me, but we'll see what the recording is there.
Yeah. So I'm Steve from Rock and Metal Invasion.
All right. Next up, we'll go who's on top of you for me, which would be Kevin.
Hey, I'm Kevin, and I'm from Sonic Boom TV.
And last but not least, Mr. Keith.
Hey, I'm Keith. I'm from Attack from Down Under channel.
Perfect. All four of us make the Kansas connection. One from the US, two from New Zealand, and myself from Canada. So today we will be talking about albums in our collection that are diamond certified. Now, these sales, this is based on sales, obviously, based on the RIAA, which is the Record Industry Association of America, which is based on US sales, which is, I guess, is the biggest market. I think you said that once, Kev?
Yeah, it's got to be.
US and Japan, right? Someone I heard.
Japan's probably pretty big too, but there's just more people, in the United States than anywhere else, really, except like India. But they don't technically, listen to this kind of music over there that much anyway. So, as far as rock music goes, it's probably United States first.
Yeah,
Japan, maybe the UK.
Okay, well, so what is diamond certified? So it's according to US sales. It's when one of your albums sells over 10 million copies. So that's one. So that's diamond certified. So to put in perspective, I'm not sure about the New Zealand one, but Canada. So an album gold in the US is 500,000 copies sold, right? In Canada, it's 50,000 because it's based on the population.
Right.
So an album to be technically, like platinum would be 100,000 in Canada. So to be certified diamond, I guess in Canada would be, you'd have to sell 1 million copies. But now we're talking 10 million copies in the US, that's what diamond is. So that's what we're going to be talking about right here. So we're going to each choose 3 albums out of our collection. We'll do one at a time. What are our 3 best or favorites diamond album collection, and maybe after we'll do a honorable mention. Sounds good?
Yep.
Anything you guys want to add before we start?
Yeah.
All right. See, all the jokes were before we started. Now we start recording. Nobody's got a good zinger.
We're dead serious now.
Yeah, we
Into the business.
Very seriously. All right, so we'll start
Music
by
talk.
the man of the hour here, Steve. We'll start with you.
Okay, great. Yeah, so well, first of all, when Dan suggested this idea, I thought, it'll be a whole lot of pop stuff. It'll be like probably nothing on there that is, it might be 1 or 2 things in my collection, but but actually when I went through it, it's like actually there's quite a lot of stuff on there that is in my collection. A lot of really good records, or albums, and there's quite a bit of hard rock and quite a bit of metal, if you want to call it that. So it actually wasn't easy to just pick 3, but I did decide, because that was the idea, your 3 favorite. So it was a challenge. It was a challenge, but I think I've got my 3 favorite, and I'm quite surprised what my 3 favorite are. I'm not going to show records that, obviously none of them are obscure records, right? Because they're like diamond selling records. Everyone would have heard of all these records, right? But mine are like one of the more well-known of the well-known, I must admit. So, or at least that's what I think. Anyway, so my first one is an album that actually, I'll plug my own channel now. I talked about this album on my last episode because it just had its anniversary. So 37 years ago, like a couple of days ago. Oh, here we go. He's already made the call. I knew this was going to happen. No doubt, there's a good chance there we go. My selections are going to also be others, or maybe honorable mentions. But so there we go. It's already been revealed. So yes, it is Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet. So yeah, 37 years ago, 1986. Yeah, there we go. This is Japanese cover.
What the
Trust
perv?
Dan had the Japanese one. Oh yeah. But like I said, if you want to know more, go check out Rock and Metal Invasion, latest episode.
I'll put the link. I'll put the link on. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I did just a bit of a breakdown of the album, nothing too in depth. What I liked, what I found great talking about this album when I did my episode was, sometimes I have to do a bit of research. I don't know too much about the album, or have to listen to it a fair bit, or whatever, and take notes and things like that, just because it's not in my head at all. But like this album was like, no, I'm doing it right. Let's get the album. I don't even have to look at the album to know the track listing. I know all the tracks in the order that they come in. So it's in my head, that album, the songs, the credits, who wrote what song, and the producer, engineer, all that kind of stuff. I know that album pretty well. So it was really easy. It's really easy to talk about. I do, like I said on my episode, I do still like the album, even though it's 37 years old and I've played it a lot. I mean, it was a massive album. It just, I remember, obviously it was my gateway to hard rock and metal. I went off and then looked for other bands that also had that image and that sound. But, I really enjoyed the fact that a band I really like was also, popular. Sometimes people don't like that. They go, oh, that's my band, now everyone likes them. But I liked it. It was like, you turn on the TV and it's like, oh, it's a Bon Jovi video. They were always on TV, on the radio, and so I didn't mind it. It's a good album. It's a big step up, I think, from. I mean, I like the previous two albums too, but I think they brought in a new producer. They've started working with Desmond Child. They just improved their overall sound, production, and songwriting. I think this album had a lot more hit potential than their previous albums. Obviously, Desmond Child is obviously a big influence on the success. But and this is when they actually kicked ass a little bit. This is when they still rocked. Unfortunately, these days, they're more of a pop band now. I've lost the last 20 years. I really haven't had much interest in them. But throughout the 80s, they're definitely worth checking out if you like hard rock. And like I say, everyone's heard of this band and most likely have heard the album. But it's in my top three is in no particular order. I'm not saying this is my number one of my three. Yeah, but it's one of my three.
It was massively hyped in New Zealand. You couldn't escape it. And when 86. And I didn't even know there were two albums before it, because that one was just pushed forward in your face so much. And just watching the videos with her swinging around the stage, it just looked like so much fun. And at the time, I think I was 17, and I probably wasn't having that much fun. And I'm thinking, gee, those guys are just blasting it, and it's just really fun album.
The music videos. That's another thing about their success. They had those music videos, and they were like. Yeah, well done. Massive, music videos.
All the play,
and you're right. I didn't even know. I thought this was their first album as well. I
thought it was their first album.
And I was like, I think I just walked into a music shop one day and saw 7,800 Degrees Fahrenheit, because it got those, and their first album got re-released later on. Well, after the success of this, I was like, oh, what? And I thought at first that it was a new Bon Jovi album. Like,
I did too. They put that out quick.
Yeah.
All right. So anything you want else to add there on that one, Keith? Since it's going to be I'll add to it also, since we seems to have picked Kevin. You didn't pick this one?
No, I did not. And I thought about it, but I was like, you know what? I know everybody's going to pick this one, and another one or two I think you guys might pick. So I was like, I'm going to stray away a little bit. And,
okay. Well,
it's just going to. It's just going to be like the Queensryche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the last time the Queensryche, we all
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll add to it also, since I've chosen it also. I'll skip Kevin for now and I'll go back to him after. I did talk to Steve about this on his channel. So I think we all bought this, by the way, when this was fairly new, right? We didn't buy this because it was like uber popular or like a diamond album, right? We bought it at when it came out. And I was telling Steve, I'm like, I got this on my birthday as a cassette. It was because my mom felt I had too much Kiss. So she's like, okay, I'm going to get you some songs or sorry, some albums, but enough Kiss. You've got enough, which was like 5. But so I got Slippery When Wet and Stay Hungry. So I remember I firstly seeing the video for You Give Love a Bad Name, and I was hooked right there. That's when I first, and I was aware of them before. I from Metal Edge, I saw, like, okay, and everybody's like, did you hear the new Bon Jovi song yesterday on the Power Hour or whatnot? And everybody's like, no, I didn't see it or whatnot. I was like, man, that's a great song. And I do prefer You Give Love a Bad Name than the other big hit there, Living on a Prayer. And if you want to hear a funny story, misheard lyrics for like the longest time. I thought the first sentence to Johnny used to work on the darts. I thought he was a dart player. And I was like, no, it's the docks, you dumbass. So anyway, but yeah, I grew up with that album, and that's what also, like, at first I was just Kiss, and then Bon Jovi, Twisted Sister, and a whole bunch came out, and that's when I started getting other, because I was don't bother me, except if it's for Kiss there, and then I started getting other, and that was like the beginning of getting other bands besides Kiss there. So yeah, I did like that album, but I did stop at New Jersey, like. Even that album's like passable to me there, and after that, what they're doing now, I own nothing of that. So there you go.
It was the first time I heard that vocal. What's it called? Vocoder. That oh wow, and they do the into that thing on the machine musical, and it sort of changes.
Musical box.
Musical box, yeah.
I
never heard that before.
If I understand the concept, you put it's a tube that goes into your mouth, and your mouth acts as an amplifier. So you play like the letter A or the A chord, and the A chord comes out of your mouth, something like that. It's tough to explain there.
Ask Peter Frampton.
Yeah, I have a Winger making of album, and he sort of explains it, and even I'm like, I was trying to like do verbatim of what they were saying. Anyway, I've talked enough here about this. So Kevin, would be your first choice for a Diamond album?
Well, my first choice is a band that people love to hate for some reason. I think it's because they gave you free songs on your iTunes or something at one point. And I thought I had this on vinyl, and apparently I don't. And I remember why is because I went to buy it used, and they wanted like $35, and it had a scratch on it, so I left it there, and I just always thought I had bought it. So anyway, U2. The Joshua Tree.
Wow.
Look at this guy. But I don't know like why people hate this band so much. I mean, their early stuff is great as far as I'm concerned. Up through Achtung Baby, I think they started to get more pop at that point. But they were just an alternative rock band back then. They went along with bands like REM and stuff like that. And they were always like, when I was a kid, I had favorite bands. Don't really have favorite bands anymore, but there was Def Leppard, and there was U2, and there was Queensryche. Those are my 3 favorite bands when I was a kid. And just a little side note, what got me into U2 was one year for Christmas when I was like maybe 11 or 12 years old, we got these black and white TVs. And for some reason, these TVs picked up channels that were not in my area. And I would get like shows from other states, and I didn't have cable in my bedroom. We had cable in like the main room, but I would pick up channels from other states and even Canada, and that's pretty far distance, from Louisiana to Canada. And their live album that they did at Red Rocks was on a Canadian station, but it came in on my TV, and it was real fuzzy. But I watched the whole thing, and that's where it got me into U2. And then this, I don't know if this is the first U2 album I bought, but I own them all now. So anyway, the Joshua Tree, it's got, a ton of hits on it. Where the Streets Have No Name, Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For. Now I can't read these. Running to Stand Still, One Tree Hill, Exit, Mothers That Have Disappeared. Just there's no bad songs on it as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, a side note, when you said Achtung Baby, until I kept saying Achung Baby.
I don't know exactly how to say it. I think it's German or Austrian, the word. So, I'm not 100% sure. I just say Achtung Baby.
I don't mind U2. I did see them live on the Vertigo tour, whatever. Like when,
Did you?
I don't know if you guys saw my last episode with my friend with the concerts there. We were trying to do something different, and that was one of them, and I actually thought it was a great show. A little too political.
Yeah.
It was a great show. But man, that song, I prefer their later stuff, actually. Like
Really?
Vertigo and the album that Get Off Your Boots or something like that. I have a greatest hits on CD there.
Yeah. Well, there's a
That's
couple
the stuff
different.
I like, yeah.
There's a couple different greatest hits things they do. There's one for the singles that it's like 21 singles, but then there's another one that it's got like a kid with an army helmet on it, and it's got more stuff.
That's the one I have. Yeah, that's the one I have.
That's the better one.
Yeah.
And because it's got some rarity songs like B-sides and stuff on it, as well as the hit songs.
Yeah, I love Bullet to Blue Sky. I was like,
yeah,
love it. All right. So
That's
we've got round one done. Keith hasn't said anything almost because he's got like everybody else's picks there.
Well, Keith hasn't really talked about his one yet.
Okay, go ahead. Talk about your Bon Jovi.
Oh no. I was going to talk about something different, but
all right.
So
not Bon Jovi. Joshua Tree, is that it?
Oh no. I'll just start by I listened to out of the total, I think there was 82, and that I've actually
92.
Yeah. Okay, I've got 28 of them.
17. So, I was surprised.
17. Oh, okay.
I'm just a pop nerd then because I've got 33.
Wow. Wow.
What was your count, Steve? You remember?
Well, I didn't actually count, to be honest, but I did narrow down like some potential ones that I definitely knew I had in my collection. I think it was like 13 or 14. I might read that list out at the end, but yeah.
Okay.
So then I listened to about 14 of them because I just wanted to make sure, because a lot of them were like from when I was, back in the day, and it was the top. You're asking for the top, not the favorites, because a lot of them were ones that were my favorites then, but I've got them. I know I've got them, but I don't listen to them every day. So my choices are ones that I think I'd, in the next week or the next month, I might pick out and listen to back again. What ones I rate that way. And so that sort of sidelined a lot of the Pink Floyd, and a lot of all of them were actually before 2000, all my picks. Because from about late 90s to early 2000s, I wasn't listening to a whole heap of music. So all of my picks from, which surprised me quite a bit. And there's the No Doubts, there's Alanis Morissette, which just listened to on the radio, but I never picked up. So the ones that I'll just talk about are ones that I think I'd pick up again and want to listen to.
Yeah. All right. So we've done just round one, right? All right. Okay. So let's go with Steve. What's your second round one?
Yep. So second one?
Yeah.
You there, Dan? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Froze up.
We were all here. You're the one who froze.
Oh, really?
Your new camera,
No.
right?
Yeah, no, because I was moving, but none of you guys were. Okay, cool. Yeah. So my second one, I'm pretty sure, in fact, I know Dan does not have this one. But I'm not so sure about Kevin and Keith. Do you know what it is, Dan?
Is it the
Wanna have a
one you
guess?
mentioned in the messenger chat?
I don't remember what I mentioned.
Nickelback?
No, it's not Nickelback. No, it's not Nickelback.
All right, I'm gonna guess. Never mind.
It was close, but no, I didn't make it. It's this one.
No,
Oh God.
I almost did that.
He
We will
doesn't
not have a
Appetite
match
for
here, I can
Destruction.
tell you that.
What's that?
We will not have a match. Go on and
No.
talk about it.
No, I just find it surprising you don't have that. You don't like have a copy of this, right? Is that
You know
right?
what? If I get it, if I find it cheap one day, maybe. But you know me, I'm a complete collection.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah.
start with one, I'm gonna have to get all the rest of the crap.
Mm.
It's not bad
Yeah, and the
crap.
GNR Lives isn't cheap, and that's not a cheap one to get.
Yeah.
But okay. Anyway, yeah, like for me, it's a perfect record. Like from start to finish, every song is great. There's no bad songs. It's again, it's such a predictable choice. I know. You know, like we talked about Nickelback. I could have thrown a curveball in there and shown that one. I do like Nickelback, but not as much as Guns N' Roses. Not even close. So yeah, no, it's this is just such a great album. You know, it starts off with "Welcome to the Jungle," just the perfect song to kick off an album like this, and then ends with "Rocket Queen," and then that could be like it could be a band's one of a typical sort of this that you could imagine that being a band's best song, Rocket Queen, but that's just the last song on this album. You know, and they've got so many great songs. Of course, "Sweet Child of Mine" was actually, I think, the song that really broke them. I mean, I remember here in New Zealand, you know, they were you could buy this album in the record stores, they may have been getting a little bit of publicity, but when "Sweet Child of Mine" came out, that's when they really broke huge. At least down this way. And then after that, it was just music videos. After that, just were all really popular. Paradise City was another massive one. And the funny thing is that they have been played a lot on radio, but I still, just like the Bon Jovi, still enjoy hearing the songs. That granted, I don't get this out very much and play it, but when I do, I enjoy it. So it's not really much more to add. It's just such a great album from start to finish. They just released a new song. I don't know if you guys have heard the new song.
I heard the name.
Yeah. And I like that. I like the stuff they've been putting out recently. I like Use Your Illusion, not as much as this one, but I do like it. Chinese Democracy, yeah. But interesting though too, with the new songs that they're putting out, they're actually songs that they recorded for Chinese Democracy, or they're old songs. So they're songs that were kind of demoed for that album. Yeah. So and now they're re-recording them with their more classic lineup. It's not the complete classic lineup, but and putting them out. But yeah.
I did enjoy. I remember the Deadpool. It was a movie with Clint Eastwood, and that "Welcome to the Jungle" song was the soundtrack for it, and I liked it at the time. Again, it was like I was very at the time. I was very close-minded with music. There, I liked what I liked, not what everybody else liked.
We're here to open your mind, Ann.
Yeah. All right. Well. Okay. Well, that's a good second choice. I'm still going to give you that. Like, I know how important it is to music there, so I'm going to give you that one there, Steve.
Thank you.
All right,
Hello?
Mr. Keith. I don't even know have we actually gone to 2 choices of yours yet, or
That's
one
fine.
choice? I don't know.
Well,
Just do 2 in a row.
Bon Jovi one of them, or was that just something you were?
Was Bon Jovi part one of them? Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I've just got multiple stuff, and I was just going to go with the flow or whatever.
He's gonna
You know,
do his top 28.
He's gonna come up with Celine Dion next. Watch.
I'm only here for my looks, you know. So you know.
There you go.
All right. So, like I was saying before, a lot of my choices that were on that list that I went through, I listened to all the records. A lot of them were like juvenile choices, and as a 50-something-year-old man, you know, your tastes change. But one thing will never change. Love this album. Yeah.
I saw you
So
posting that on
no.
Kevin, and I almost chewed you out for it on Facebook.
sorry, Kevin. Sorry. I knew he'd have a
Not you,
CD
Keith.
somewhere. Yeah, sorry. So this went like 10 times. So is that 10? I suppose that's 10
This
million.
one is 10 times platinum according to my charts. There you go. Everybody's got it.
Yeah.
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 10
So-
times platinum with my list.
They're just like Rock of Ages, you know, the Gunter Gleben, Glaschen, Globen. I love that. You know, it always puts a smile on the face that at the beginning they go Gunter Gleben, Glaben, Globen. All that bit. Even though I'm old, I just still enjoy this. You know, Billy Got a Gun is just so good. Billy got a gun, he's on the run. I actually probably picked this up and listened to it more than Hysteria, I have to say. So, you know, Fallen, yeah, just so good. So that's my second choice, 1983 Pyromania. And just a similar thing like the Bon Jovi thing we were talking about. I got the big record Hysteria, and then I think I might have come back and got this, and then over time I like that one better.
I knew
Yeah.
Pyromania existed, but I never bought it at the time. But I appreciate that album more. But Keith, are you like, or you guys, actually, question for you guys, are you like me with that eating gluten, whatever that thing is there? When people say, "Oh yeah, that's from The Offspring," that annoys the fuck out of me.
Oh yeah,
I'm
I
like,
don't even know what
no,
it
no,
means.
no.
Does anyone done German in
It
school know
means
those?
1, 2, 3, 4 in German.
Oh,
That's what it is, right? Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
counting.
and I always used to wonder if the German version just said 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's a good
just
question,
to mess
actually.
with them.
So
I
who
love
here's
that.
gonna get the German press of Pyromania?
I don't know.
All right. Well, good choice. I'm not gonna go. Then I'm gonna go to Kev here.
Well, I got this one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you got it.
So I won't really go into too much about it, except that when this came out, Michael Jackson's Thriller was like the big thing. And I hated all my friends because they loved Michael Jackson, and I wanted this to be the #1 album. I don't think it ever got to #1 because the Thriller album was in front of it at the same time. And so, you know, we would go to like birthday parties or something, and they'd be playing Michael Jackson. And I would always be like, I wish they were playing Def Leppard. And they never did. But they were my first heavy metal band, I guess, and my first favorite band for, I don't know, maybe about 5 or 6 years, and then I stopped having favorite bands because there was just too many that you know I couldn't pick a favorite at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? Yeah, I'll use this choice too. There, like this is easily it's like the perfect old Def Leppard but with hits type of.
Yeah.
I think this is great here. Like I don't grow tired of hearing this, but I grow tired of hearing stuff off of Hysteria. Like I only got Hysteria on vinyl like a month ago because I've had Vault for like so long, and pretty much if you have Vault, you have Hysteria. So,
Well, I only have this one and now I can't think of the name. High and Dry, and then I have
That's a
live.
good one.
The High and Dry is really good.
Dry.
And I have one of their live albums. It's like 3 records. I got it at Walmart for $6, and it was way more than that. And one day I was walking through the record aisle, and they had a sticker on it, and it said 6 something, and I was like, that can't be right. So, but I grabbed it anyway, and I went and I scanned it on the little Walmart thing they have on the wall. It came up $6. I said, okay, well, if it doesn't come up at the register, I'm gonna bring the person to the little scanner in the back of the store and say, look, this is what it says back there. And sure enough, it was like $6 and some change.
Nice.
For three record set. So,
but
Steve,
Pyromania, I would say I bought it a lot later. Did you guys buy it at the time?
I was just going to say, Steve, do you have it? We could do a clean sweep. We could all show the same.
Yeah, totally. I've got it. I went out and got it. Just it's not in my 3, but yeah. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. I think that's the first time we've done a clean sweep.
Yeah. I bought it on cassette back then. Like
I didn't.
As far as the vinyl, I got it much later, but I've probably had it 10 or 15 years at least, and it was used, and it looks like it's got a scratch on it, but it plays perfectly. So I was like, you know,
it's you're talking, it's like, obviously it came out after High and Dry and before Hysteria, and it sounds like it, like it's that perfect mix, I think.
Transition album, yeah.
Yeah, like, I think Hysteria got a little bit too polished, a little bit too commercial, and High and Dry is a little bit raw. It's a bit rawer than this. It's a good album, still, but it's just that they got that nice middle ground, I think, with this album, really good. So
yeah, I
didn't get this album until after I'd heard Hysteria. In fact, I don't know if this was all that popular in New Zealand. I don't know what you remember much, Keith, but I don't even remember hearing about this band until Hysteria came out. But
no,
maybe I wasn't following this sort of sound that much at the time. But
the art,
it doesn't have,
very
from
popular.
what I know, it doesn't have a lot of hits on it, does it? Like, like Photograph maybe was a hit, I guess.
It was a big hit here.
Yeah. See, I don't think it was a big hit in New Zealand. I don't think it got a lot of radio play.
From what
MTV, so
from what I remember, there wasn't a lot in the heavy metal section of any record store. You'd go and it'd be probably the equivalent now of jazz blues. There wasn't a big,
Yeah, Photograph, Foolin', and Rock of Ages were the hits here.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, it was a big album. In the States, and but I don't think it was so big here. But obviously, over time, especially with the success of Hysteria, then people go back and check out the older albums. But yeah,
I definitely do remember the artwork. I remember being in grade 6, and a guy had that Pyromania T-shirt, and I was like, "Who the hell is that?" Like, but that was 84. Yeah. So anyway. All right, so now we've got 2 choices done each. Now for our last one, let's see. I'm surprised this one hasn't come up yet. But anyway, I'm gonna go. Let Steve go first once again.
Okay. Well, we were just talking about this album here. Now, this album was produced by Matt Lang. So a bit of a clue as to what my third choice is. An album produced by the same producer, different band. As you hear, is Keith going to show it? There we go. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, so it's Back in Black. Yeah, AC/DC.
Would you guys believe me if I tell you I don't own that?
This guy owns nothing.
No, I'm a big I have everything Bon Scott on CD. These are easy to find. These albums are easy to find. I'll get them eventually, AC/DC, just to please you two there.
He's got Chrissy Steele. He's got Chrissy Steele Magnet to whatever it's called, and he doesn't have AC/DC Back in Black
because they're so easy to find here in used stores.
I know.
I'll get one and I'll show you the price I paid for it. It'll just be like, okay, that was easy to find.
Yeah.
Well, they put reissues out of them, most of them, not too long ago, and I've got a few of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all
Yeah, no,
sound good,
it
the
is, it's
reissues.
been reissued heaps. I will say this is and the same with the Guns N' Roses. Um, this is actually the album I've had like since back in the day. So this, and same with the Guns N' Roses. And I would have been able to say the same thing about Bon Jovi, but it got so like used that I got rid of it just a few years ago. But I actually got rid of all my records in about 2002 because I was moving overseas. I was moving to Australia. Sorry about that, Keith. A terrible thing to do, I know, but I came back.
I did it as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So, uh, so I moved over
Moved to
there, and
Australia.
I got rid of all my records. But I kept like I had about 300, nothing like I've got at the moment. But
Yeah.
I had about 300, and I kept about maybe I can't remember maybe 30 or 40. So yeah, and like these albums were well, three of the sort of 30 or 40 that I did keep. And when I say got rid of them, believe it or not, I just put them in the bin because I didn't think they weren't really worth a lot of money. And I couldn't be bothered. Like, oh, I might get a couple of bucks each. It's like, I need to, get rid of them all. It's unbelievable. There were like Wasp albums in there. But anyway, so it's just crazy. But uh so this is my original copy that I've had since 1980, whenever, not 1981 when it came out or 80 when it came out, because I wasn't aware of them at that time. And in fact, this album wasn't the first AC/DC album I heard. So Blow Up Your Video was the first one because it came out, I think, around 88, something like that. So I'm just getting into bands when they were releasing albums from like I said before, 86 was when I sort of with Bon Jovi started getting into hard rock and metal, and then 1988 Blow Up Your Video comes up, and I was like, oh yeah, I like AC/DC. What else have they got? And then I think I got Fly on the Wall, and this might have been the third one that I got, but and of course I hadn't even checked out the Bon Scott stuff at that stage, but yeah, what an amazing comeback, with a new vocalist. They just, it's incredible. It's just, again, for me, like every song's at least good, not great. I love Hell's Bells. I love the way that it kicks off the album. It's got to be one of the best ways to kick off an album with the bells, and then the riff comes in. It just builds so, fantastic. Fantastic build on that. The big song on here is You Shook Me All Night Long, which actually I always thought was a bit overrated. Like, it's an okay song, but for me, the songs that I like are Hell's Bells, and Let Me Put My Love Into You is another real favorite of mine.
What is he talking about, Steve?
There's some dodgy lyrics on
I'm
this one,
confused.
like giving the dog a bone. Yeah.
Let me cut your cake with my knife.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it cake or cape? I talk about misheard lyrics. I was singing cape, but
I think
Cape as in Superman?
I love that part though. And I've got a
I used to sing cape. Let me cut your cape with my knife.
Yeah. I've got my original too from back then, and I've had about 4 different stereos, and every stereo system, it just sounds fantastic. On there you just crank it up, and it's just something about the production.
You can hear the songs off of that album every day still on the radio here. It doesn't matter what it is. They always play an AC/DC song.
Look at Iron Man with the Shoot the Thrill. That was a less than 10 years ago.
Yeah,
and that revitalized that song, and that's on that album, right? Shoot the Thrill.
Yeah.
It got a second life with that.
Yeah.
But is it me? But You Shook Me All Night Long was released as a video much later, back in the Who Made Who?
Possibly, yeah, maybe it was. I don't remember. I don't know, but also this is like we're talking about Diamond albums. This is like got the most, like almost the most sales, right? That's like 22
Yes, something.
22
Yeah.
million or something.
22,
Like
yeah.
you're gonna get to 10 million to be diamond. This is double diamond.
Yeah, double diamonds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Huge.
All right.
I
well,
think it just keeps selling. It's not like one of those, oh, they were pop, like Alanis Morissette, like she's like 17 million or something like that. But I reckon most of
that
those were sold prior to 2000.
it's
This is still
died down.
selling every day. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, now just to prove a point, I'll have to get it, so they'll have one sale to add to that.
yeah.
One Canadian
Okay.
sale.
Um,
All right, Mr.
and the
Keith.
Guns N' Roses as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, that'll be used
Yeah.
unless I can get the uncensored version. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
It's me, is it?
yeah, Mr. Keith.
Okay. So obviously that's a big hard rock record, but the next one I'm going to show you, I think, is the ultimate hard rock record for myself, in my opinion. So Led Zeppelin, Physical
I have
Graffiti,
that. Yeah,
came out in 1975. It hasn't got as much sales as that one. It's 16 times. So this is their
I got
first
16. Yeah,
this is their first 2 LP set. And when I got this, I'd never heard anything like it. And I called up my friend and said, I raced over his house to play it on his sound system because I just loved it. The vocals are just incredible by Robert Plant. In that song, In My Time of Dying, I re-listened to that, and the changes in there, the vocal styles in that, and just Jimmy Page over it. It's just, I love that song. So when this album is good, which is most of the time, I think it's the best that it's as good as Led Zeppelin gets, put it that way. And I had this on cassette and had it on CD, and this is my original copy with all the funny windows and things in it. So that's one, like I was saying before, I'm quite happy to listen to it again. Some of those ones you're a bit over, but that one, love it. So that's my third choice.
I do have that one. But
okay.
I'll put
There's hope.
What's that?
There's hope for you.
I've only gotten into Led Zeppelin maybe in the last 2 years. I mean, I've heard all the hits on radio or whatnot. Remember back in 89, 90, they came out with that box set with the crop circles?
Yeah.
That was huge in my high school. And I was like, oh, Led Zeppelin. I was like, oh, it took me a long while. But yeah, now I got them all.
It's funny you mentioned that. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I don't think that box set sounds very good at all when you listen to some of the older.
It was just some CDs, my friend. I didn't buy it, but that was huge in my high school at the time.
And it goes for a lot of money, but it's not worth it. Don't buy it. Yeah, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have a friend who, back in I guess the 90s or something, he said to me that he hates any band that's from the UK. Don't know why. He just did. And so one day I go to his house, and sitting on his dresser is that Led Zeppelin box set. And I looked at him and I said, I thought you hated bands from the UK. He goes, I do. I can't stand any of them. I said, well, why do you have this Led Zeppelin box set? And he was like, well, they're not from the UK. I was like, yeah, they're definitely from the UK. They're like one of the biggest ones besides the Beatles.
Exactly. Those ones, I was surprised at the sales for Led Zeppelin. Like they appear 4 or 5 times on the list.
Yeah, they're
Led Zeppelin 23 times. Physical Graffiti 16. Led Zeppelin 2 12. Led Zeppelin House of the Holy 11. And I think there was Led Zeppelin 1 10 times. Which sucks because my favorite Led Zeppelin's not even on the list.
I like Led Zeppelin 4 the best. That's my favorite.
Like In Through the Outdoor.
Yeah.
That one's my favorite. Yeah. But I was surprised that the Boston record sold more than a lot of Led Zeppelin. The Boston debut, 17 times.
Yeah, that was a huge one too.
That's an album I don't understand why it's so popular. I don't get it.
because it sounds perfect.
I guess.
Mhm.
Yes. I mean, I like it. It just, I don't know. I don't like it that much, I guess, to,
I like it.
Yeah.
I inherited it from my uncle like this past winter. That was my first time owning it. So
It's only
I do have-
37 minutes long.
I do have a copy of it that was like a radio station copy, and it's got the sticker with the track listing on the front, and it's worth like $100. I got it for free.
there you go. All right. Well, since you're talking, what about you, Kev? What's your last pick?
Well, I can't do an episode without offending you, right? So I had to come up with, and I'm going to cover something here.
I was
Never mind,
expecting
never
someone to
mind.
have that. Yeah.
And I got to cover that because I don't want this kid to sue me because he tries to sue everybody now.
Yes.
Even though he profited off that photo and that album for many years. Nirvana's never mind. This I got everyone knows there's a ton of hits on it. Everyone knows this is what made grunge popular. But for me, it kind of like, I guess at the end of the 80s, early 90s, I wasn't like tired of like heavy metal and glam stuff, but it seemed like there was definitely a formula for everyone putting everything out. Everybody had their, 8 songs and maybe a ballad, and then a song that was kind of in between a ballad and a rock song. And it just seemed like it kept repeating itself over and over with everyone. And then when I heard Smells Like Teen Spirit come on the radio for the first time, I was like, that's different. And it just kind of opened the door for a lot of different things that were happening in the 90s. And I kind of branched off into a lot of different things just because of this album. So is it, overrated? Probably. But again, it just opened a lot of doors to other things for me. So I had to put it in this.
That's cool. I remember in high school when that came out, and I was still in my hair metal, and then my friends like, oh yeah, this new song is like the new big song, and I heard it. I was like, okay, it's okay, nothing special. Where's the keyboards? Where's the hair? Like I didn't get it right away. Like I was still into the glam, like but I definitely remember my friends saying, oh yeah, this is the new big thing right now.
Yeah.
I'm listening to them. I'm like, what? No.
Well, it definitely changed things for sure. I mean, because I guess the radio stations didn't know what to do at that point. It was because even like regular pop music changed as well, at that time, because, you had a lot of pop bands that we all probably like, but those kind of bands don't exist anymore. Pop music today is completely different than it was.
Oh yeah.
Back in the 80s and even the early 90s. So I took it as a good thing. I know a lot of people, because I have tons of friends that just hate everything that grunge was or whatever. And grunge never meant to be popular. They didn't want, those bands didn't want to be, popular, but somebody found out about them and it just happened.
Yeah.
And a lot of them changed after they became popular. They changed to a different sound completely, just I guess to get away from it.
Oh well.
Anyway.
All right. Well, no. Again, I respect your choice. Don't get me wrong. It's not in my collection. Never will be.
I'm going to send you a copy.
All right.
I just bought a box set of that, by the way.
What's that?
I just bought a box set of that on CD. It's got a couple of live albums with it, but I haven't got it yet.
But you know what, Kev? I didn't get that box set.
You might.
No, I won't. No, I won't. Unless somebody gives it to me there, but whatever. All right.
Anyway, let's go.
I'm going to go with my last pick. I'm surprised this hasn't shown up, to be honest. But this is 10 times platinum, so I'm going to go with this one. I had a choice between this one and the first one, Van Halen 1.
Mm.
I am less tired of hearing this than I can't, like Running with the Devil, You Really Got Me. I'm like, I can't friggin' listen to those anymore. But you know what? I can listen to Jump. I know a lot of people are sick and tired of hearing that song. I actually like that song still. but I'm appreciative of more of the lesser known songs like Drop Dead Legs, House of Pain. I don't know, like I remember this, and I was gonna actually say something there when Keith was talking about, I forget which album was being blocked by Thriller.
Oh, Def Leppard. That was
Def
me.
Leppard.
Yeah.
This one also was being blocked by Thriller to go number one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, probably so, because it was definitely came out in '83, right?
Yeah, late 80, depends where.
84.
Well,
it was called 1984, but it didn't come out in 1984. I know that.
Right.
some places was December 83 or
Yeah.
January 84.
Okay.
Depends where you lived, I guess there. But yeah, like that Jump song was like Panama, I'll Wait, Hot for Teacher.
I like I'll Wait. I really like I'll Wait.
I like that one too, yeah. But it's I'm just saying, like, I'm not, for some reason I'm not sick and tired of Jump, but I am sick and tired of hearing Ain't Talking About Love and You Really Got, I know it's a cover there, but You Really Got Me in from the first one there. Ice Cream Man I Can't Stand. I know that's another but anyway, that's the that's the second album I got I got it later. My first Van Halen album was actually for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, and then I went backwards. But I knew like all the songs, and I was like, wow. So yeah, it's not my favorite Van Halen album, like by not even close. But out of the and I had a big choice between, like I said, I was telling Steve, like I have 17 out of 92 here. And I'm like, I was looking at the list. I'm like, okay, which one do I actually listen to the most? And there you go, Van Halen, 1984 for me.
The funny thing about Van Halen, not funny, but a weird little tidbit of information that nobody really needs to know. I've heard one 8-track tape in my entire life, and it was Van Halen 1. My cousin had an 8-track player, and he had that 8-track, and that was the first time I heard Van Halen, and the first time and only time I've ever heard an 8-track tape in my life. I still to this day do not understand how they work.
I have 3 of them. I remember I had one, and it's, you know how a cassette has 2 sides?
Right.
An 8-track has 4. And you put your 8-track in, and you have 4. They're not technically sides, but I don't know how it works. But it was not I don't think it's a good medium there, but
I don't know.
4 sides to an 8-track.
Okay.
But whatever.
I don't know.
Anybody here having 8-tracks? I don't think so there. I have 3. That's about it.
You never see it. You just don't see them here in New Zealand, eh, Keith? I've
never seen one.
No, I've never
seen one.
I see them all the time here, but I'd never buy them.
No, we never see them.
Really?
Never.
Oh, they were very popular here at the time. I mean, between January 1981 to February 1981. I don't know.
Yeah, for about a month they were really popular.
They were. I remember I had a friend in his car. He did not have a cassette player. He had an 8-track player.
Yeah, I remember that too.
That's wow, like the most mind-blowing thing there.
Did cars roll off the line and they had 8-track players in them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He had one, and we all laughed at him.
We had people that I knew that had them, but no one ever had 8-tracks. That was the thing. It was like if they did, they didn't play them in the car. But still
it came with our stereo systems, like turntable, 8-track, and speakers, and a preamp. That was the norm here. I don't know. I guess New Zealand did not believe in 8-tracks, which is okay.
It might have never had time to get there too, because they replaced them with the regular cassettes, soon after, I think.
My friend had Kiss Dynasty, and one song was on part of the song was on side 1, and then it changed sides to side 2, and there was the other half. And I was like,
that's what I've heard about some of those, that they didn't have complete songs. It had to switch sides or whatever.
So New Zealand guys, you're okay.
You've been spared.
You've missed out on nothing.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody's got some honorable mentions they want to talk about here? All right. Keith lifts his hand up, so we'll go with him.
Well, I just want to show something silly. Is that all right?
Go ahead.
If it starts with a G and ends with a C.
Yeah, if it starts
starts-
with a G and finishes with Oblencock. Yeah.
It starts with a G, and it's Gunter Gleben Glaschen Globen. This one here.
Oh.
This is another
What?
German funny one. It's called Horny. So it's very Austin Powers. This is from the 70s. Of course, the girl on the front has got a I think but there's still a bit of innuendo there. So 70s music, and it's, if you can think of the worst 70s music, this is about 10 times worse. But I just thought I'd show you this. The guy's name is Gunter Norris. And
Are you trying to one up me with my my pussy belongs to daddy here?
exactly,
Oh, God.
exactly. So believe it or not, this was terrible, but he's got about 8 volumes of music out there.
I need to get some of those.
So that's some there. So it's an Austin Powers title. Yeah, that's the guy there.
And we just
And-
can we just clarify, Keith? This album is not diamond certified. Is that correct?
I think it would be not, maybe not even in Germany, but this
No.
guy styles himself like a.
It's huge in Germany. Yeah. Everyone's
Yeah,
got
probably
one.
huge. Well, it's
Yeah.
endorsed by the German defense minister, Helmut Schmidt. So you can't get it. Yeah, that's better than diamond certified, I would think. So,
Nice.
All right.
Horny. I thought Kevin might have the CD of this.
No, don't have that one.
Okay.
But he'll be in a record store going, I need some horny. What am I doing with my life?
I was gonna say that's gonna happen to me. I'm gonna see it somewhere and I'm gonna have to buy it.
That's volume 3. There's
God.
probably about, yeah.
Wow.
Okay, you need this. I'll do my sexist episode, my sexist album covers episode number 3 coming soon, and you'll see some in there that reminds me of that horny album you got there,
That's funny.
which I have volume 19.
I was
I'm just putting it out there.
I thought I'd thrown it away. Because every time you show stuff, I think, oh, where's that record? But then I was going through looking for something else. Oh, there it is. I've got to show that. So
There you go.
there you
All
go.
right, now you got any diamond certified honorable
No.
mentions? No,
No,
all that's for nothing.
just that.
All right, Steve.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I'll do. I don't have, I can't, it's hard to follow that, but I am interested though, Keith. Where did you get that from? Do you remember? Where did you get that record from?
There's a place, and it's just got thousands of DVDs you can buy for $5. Right at the back, they've got like old records. And
okay.
Did the
I
door
went through
squeak
them.
when you go in?
Yeah. Sounds dodgy.
Yeah, dusty old records, and you know, you're coughing and you're inhaling all sorts of stuff, and it just made me laugh when I saw it. So I thought, I've just got to get that because it just made me laugh, and I think I paid like about $1 or something. So I thought I've got to listen to it.
It makes me think about. I've mentioned this before when we've done this get together. You know, you used to be able to get out records from the library, and I think you still can in some libraries. I'm just imagining that album, that record being at a library and taking that up to get out, because I'll just show you guys something.
I brought out something.
Because when I was a teenager, I was at the library and they had this album at the library, and I thought, oh yeah, I'll check this out, because it's, you know, I knew at the time Music for Nations. So I'm like 16 or something like that at the time, and I take it up to the counter, the woman at the library, and she's like looking at this and looking at me, and like she's giving me this kind of look like, oh yeah, what's going on here? It's like, I just want it for the music. I swear.
Right.
Right.
The artistic
Steve, right.
merit.
You remind me of when I went to bring back a VHS tape one time, and it was Woody Allen's movie, Everything You Wanted to Know About Sex But Was Afraid to Ask. And then the guy at the counter thought I rented a documentary because I had a late charge on it. He goes, he's got a late charge on this movie. And he didn't want to say it out loud. Anyway,
Yeah.
go on.
Anyway, right, back to what we were supposed to be talking about. What I'll do is I'll just read out the list, because when I went through the 92, I've got a lot more than what's on my list, but these were the ones that I thought they could be in the top three, or they're worth considering. So believe it or not, one of the ones I was considering, but I knew it wouldn't make the top three. I do like this band. They get a lot of shit, right? They get a lot of hassles, but this is all the right reasons. I've got it on vinyl. Yeah, it even says on the hype sticker, Diamond Certified Album. Yeah, first time on vinyl. So I mean, it went diamond without a single vinyl sale. So it's all CDs, I imagine. Maybe some cassettes, I don't know. But yeah, so it was huge. I mean, that was like I think it was like their fourth album or something like that. But yeah, this is when they were already kind of popular, but then they just kept having hits, didn't they? Yeah, and I like some of the songs on it, and not so much the hit ones, but some of the other deep tracks on the album. Yeah, we talked about Pyromania. That was super close for me. I liked the debut by Linkin Park. I really like that. I like that kind of sound. So I was into the new metal stuff when that was popular. Metallica, I'm not a huge Metallica fan, but I do like the Black Album. So I'm one of those people who, that's probably my favorite Metallica album, probably. Beastie Boys, which is not, might surprise some people, but License to Ill, when that came out, I got into that quite a lot. The Van Halen debut, yeah, I prefer that over 1984, so that was close. Dan's favorite band, Nirvana, definitely. I was totally into this when it came out. It wasn't like I just disowned hair metal, but this is a whole different sound that I was going to get into as well. So yeah, I remember hearing Smells Like Teen Spirit and thinking, what is that song? That's amazing. So yeah, I love that album. There was lots of Led Zeppelin on there. I'm not a huge Led Zeppelin fan. I've got lots of compilations, and I've got quite a few of the albums, but I don't know if I've got them all. But I had Led Zeppelin 4 from like, the mid 80s. I've owned that album since the mid 80s, or mid to late 80s, and that I love that one. That's a real favorite of mine, Led Zeppelin 4. And finally, Michael Jackson Thriller. I mean, I really enjoyed that album. I actually enjoy Bad, as Michael Jackson's Bad as well, and there's the other one, I think Dangerous or something like that. Yeah, so believe it or not, Michael Jackson Thriller was in consideration. So there we go. There's quite a few honorable mentions, but just thought I'd mention those ones.
Steve's the one that kept Def Leppard and Van Halen from being number one.
Yeah.
His one purchase ruined everything.
It was huge at the time. I remember that.
Oh, it was definitely huge.
I had it on cassette at the time. I don't have it now there, but all right, Kev. No, sorry, go ahead.
I have it on vinyl, but I got it used a couple years ago.
Yeah, I see it used here and there. I should get it just for shits and giggles there, but okay, what do you got for honorable mentions here?
For me, I just have one. It was also another kind of gateway into the 90s kind of thing, and that would be Green Day Dookie. Green Day is one of my favorite, like, as far as pop punk goes, they're my favorite band in that. But in the early 90s, I always wanted to know what punk rock was, because I had heard of it, but all I knew were The Clash and one Sex Pistol song and one Ramones song. That was all I knew. And I was, trying, and there was nowhere that I would be exposed to it. Like, because the stores didn't really carry it. No radio play at all, really, except maybe a couple songs. And when that came out, it just kind of took me on a path to find other things. And then I just have a huge collection of all kinds of punk rock now. So, I probably have as much punk rock as I do, heavy metal and glam stuff.
I remember buying that Green Day album because my bands were like not releasing any my hair metal bands. I was like, so I bought Green Day, Dookie, I think,
Yep.
Weezer, the one with the blue album,
Right.
cover, and Offspring Smash. Okay. Sold them back within a month. I was like, okay, this
what? Those are classics.
I tried. Even though I think Buddy Holly's a brilliant video, but
yeah,
I couldn't do it there. All right, I'm gonna okay. Well, like I said, there's a lot of, like Steve mentioned there. There's Van Halen 1 could have made it. I'm looking at the list here. A few Led Zeppelins. Prince of the Revolution was also, I have that, which I think is great. Boston, the first one. Fleetwood Mac, Rumors, I have that. But I am going to go. So I was talking to Steve on Messenger. Okay, I can't take it out of the CD here. So I only have the CD, but it's actually coming out on this coming Friday on vinyl as she celebrates having sold 20,000 or 20 million, albums. So I'm going to go with Shania Twain with Come On Over. It's a little bit of hometown pride also, as she's from an hour where I was born. So up north in Canada there. And everybody knows all these songs. I'm not going to go into this here, but yeah, I'll be getting this on vinyl. I have 3 of her vinyls already there, and it's coming out on the 25th of August. The diamond edition of, which stupid enough is actually the idea that got me to start about looking at diamond. And I was like, okay, let me see what I have as diamond albums. And I was like, holy shit, I have a lot more than I thought. But
I love her.
What's that?
I said I love her.
Oh yeah, I love her too.
She never returned my calls.
Yeah, I've seen her 3 times. Once was a disaster. Once was at the Grey Cup, and once as a normal concert.
My aunt got me tickets to see her one time for my birthday. She gave me and my cousin tickets to go to see Shania Twain. I was like, it's kind of weird that we're going to see Shania Twain together, isn't it? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay. And we just went. But we were so far away from the stage, it was hard to even see her.
Yeah,
they didn't even have like the big screens where they projected what was going on or anything. It was just way down there.
I've had that experience too. It was actually top. It was my worst concert experience ever.
It wasn't that album, but it was one of the other ones. And I worked at a music store for about a year and a half, and they had those cutout things where they, it's like a life-size cutout of a person.
But
it had an attachment on it that held the CD, whatever the album was. I can't remember which one it was. And I told my boss, I was like, look, when we stop selling those CDs, I'm taking that home with me. And she's like, okay. So I lived with my aunt, and the way the house went, there was a hallway, and my bedroom was at the end of the hallway. It was real dark in that hallway, and I had that standy thing up against the wall, and there was a window behind it, so it made a shadow. Would scare the crap out of my aunt every time she went around that turn. She would say she thought somebody was in the room, because it was life size, and it just looked like a person standing there. So she made me move it.
Something similar happened when James Bond re-released all his movies on VHS. I had a poster of Sean Connery like this, so I brought it at home because this is when I was living with my parents there, and I put this. It was a Sean Connery with a gun like this, and I put it in the kitchen. And my mom woke up the next morning. He thought it was a guy with a gun. Anyway, bad joke there, but just reminded me of that. I had to get rid of that.
Another Shania Twain. It's another Mutt Lange connection there, isn't there?
Yes, it actually is
too. So
well, I thought
interesting how much his name comes up on those albums.
Yep. Well, there's 3 Mutt Lange albums in our top 3s plus honorable mentions there.
I think they both of them lived in New Zealand for a while, didn't they?
Yeah, they had a little. Well, probably wasn't little, but they had a holiday home somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't go check
Queenstown. They didn't invite us. No.
I I almost bought her last album, but it was very expensive for some reason at Target, and Target usually has pretty cheap stuff, but I wasn't paying $45 for it.
Ouch. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's US, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was not even close here for that. No.
yeah. So I was just like, maybe it'll come be on sale at some point.
No, but I'll go get this one here on Friday there, so we'll see. All right. Anything else you guys want to add here? All right.
Nope, we're good.
Well, this is our diamond episode here. Sorry for like the big goofing around here, but it is what it is there. So I'd like to thank my guests here once again from the Kansas Connection, Kevin, Steve, and Keith. And we shall see you guys on the next Kansas Connection episode. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to go and click and like and subscribe to this channel along with Steve's, Keith's, and Kevin's. I'm lost, man. And go check out their channels. They're good stuff. And click like and subscribe to everybody here just to help us out here. Thank you, guys. See, it's all gone. That probably will explain a lot of things there. All right, have yourselves a good one, guys, and we'll see you guys next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah.